Welcome to the 120th video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, I will attempt to check some simple static HTML files using the tidy tool. You won't be shocked to learn just how little checking that Ubuntu did for this tool, since so many people insist on writing JavaScript-heavy, overly complex websites with some stupid JavaScript framework. However, for simple sites, especially those that need to work over low bandwidth connections, JavaScript-heavy pages are a bad idea. Everybody knows if you're getting tens of thousands of requests every minute, a static page that can be cached is what you should use if you can. We will learn that the Ubuntu version of Tidy, like most of their stuff, is way out of date, and we'll have to build the current version from source. So let's do it. I'm in here and I'm looking at this stuff. I've got index.html. If I take a look at it, looks like HTML to me, but it might have errors, so I should run tidy on it. And if I do tidy -h, if I do tidy -h, you're going to see they have an error switch. Show only errors and warnings. Okay, so we'll do a tidy -e on index.html, and you're going to see it says it's not a file. Wait a minute, we just looked at it. Looks like a file. It says it's a file. At the low level, it says it's a file, and it's got an inode, and it's pretty normal. If we do a head on it, it's got data in it. Oh, I got to give a number. Okay, that's definitely a file. So something weird is going on, and we need to find out what. Because when we do a tidy -e on that, it says it's not a file. We need to find out what system calls are really getting run. So we'll put this output in temp junk, and then using the system tracer, and this will trace every system call. And then we'll put in the command that we were trying. We still get the same error. Okay, let's take a look at temp junk. Go to the end, and you can see there it is. It's outputting all those messages. And it's really stupid. It's writing 1 byte at a time. Document index HTML blah blah blah. What happened before that? This happened before that. Permission denied. They tried an open@ system call of index HTML, and they got permission denied. Why? Take a look at that. They opened it for read-write. Now, if all I want to do is read the file and check for errors, I don't need to write. Tidy has a -m option for modify, but we didn't use it. So, Tidy has got a bug where they're trying to open your web page, read-write, even when all you said was -e, which is just show me the error. So Tidy's got some kind of bug, and it's bad. And we can get out of there. If you don't know the open@ system call, here it is. Yeah, I did a man 2 because 2 is for the system calls. Okay, and we're looking for open@. Open@ system call operates in exactly the same way as open, except for the differences described here. The dir fd argument is used in conjunction with the path name to build it. And they have O read only as one of the choices. But that's the choice they should have used. But instead, they used ORDRW for read write. And so we got the error. If we look at index.html, you can see it's 444 or read only. Okay, so what version of tidy do we have? We've got version 5.6. Okay, and that is the error we got. So let's go look on the web. Ubuntu tidy index is not a file. Okay, and we so tidy 5.6 on Mac says not a file when not writable. Well, we're not a Mac, you know, but that is the closest thing, the closest hit. So let's click on that, and you can see, oh, I'm in tidy HTML5. Is that the same tidy? And if we look at here, it said github.com htacg tidy HTML5, and when we go back to here, htacg tidy HTML5, and we look up here in the URL to make sure they're not doing some trick. Yeah, this is the same software from the same GitHub place. And they say it's not writable. Okay. And here it says it's not just the Mac, it happens on Linux and Windows starting with this version of tidy. Or with this version of tidy. We're on 5.6.0, which is even older. And then they talk about it. And we scroll down. And, you know, many people have the same problem. Cannot handle read-only HTML files. It's a regression. They say it's closed. So, let's open that in the new tab, and then we'll keep scrolling here to see what we can see. Okay, here's another one, beginner on Windows. Not a file, and we keep scrolling. And all this is happening in 2021. And this guy says it's happening on Ubuntu 2004. You know, I just upgraded to 2404. But this one says merged. Merged lets you know that some patch got done. So let's open that in a new tab. And we keep scrolling. And we keep scrolling. And we're going to like scroll forever. And they say bump to this version for this fix merged. So we need 5.7.46 or better to get the bug fixed, right? Let's take a look at these. Okay, and we saw this already, right? We saw that one already, which is this one. And we come down here, tidy 5.6.0, and this says closed on 681. Here's the 681, and this says closed again. Okay, problem report 926. Here it is, and there's the hash, the git hash. And if we do that, you know, they tell you it was fixed in 5.7.45 in 2020. So, no, here it is. The plus is fixed in 2021 4.14 in 5.7.46. Okay, did they release that? Come back here and take a look at releases. Yes, 5.7.46, 5.8. There's a 5.8. So this is way better. Okay, the latest stable HTML tidy. And we only had 5.6. And they've got a 5.8. So we definitely want that. We look for a tarball. Nope. No tarballs except this one. So this is all we get. So we right click and we copy the link. We minimize this. and we say, okay, I'm going to have to build this from source, but they have a stable release 5.8.0. We're going to try that and see if it fixes it. So I come back to my home, I go into Monday, I make sure I don't have any old one, and I wget that, and you see it's going to have a dumb name. So we ought to fix the name while we're at it. And do we want a small o or a big O? I can never remember. Oh, can't do it. And it probably could if I... Okay. Log messages is small o. Write document to file. That's it. Big O. I need a big O. Okay. So I need to do this with a big O and that name. Okay, I've got the archive now. Before I unpack it, I need to double check to make sure it's got a top level directory and I don't, write something in this directory by accident. So gzip dc archive, pipe that through tar, test, verify, pipe that through less. And I'm looking, yes, there's a top level directory here, but I need to scroll through and make sure every single file is under that. And I'm holding the space bar down. And as I hold the space bar down, yes, every file is under there. We're in good shape. So we can change this to an X. And we've got our directory. And when we look here, you can see there's no Maison build, there's no configure. All we've got is this CMake. And we know how to do CMake already. At least I hope you do if you watch my other video. And since we don't need this to be scriptable for other people, we can take the easy way out and we can do a CCMake. The source is here. We're going to put it in a directory called build. Now they already have a directory called build. Uh-oh. What's in there? We don't really know. But we don't want to have a collision. So we'll call ours build 2. And we'll say Ninja. Configure. Okay, let's check the switches here. User local is no good. We want it to be in our home John local. Don't use an environment variable here. You need to hard code the whole thing. We want it to be a release build. We don't want any debugging stuff. I don't know what tab the space is, but sure, let's build it. Don't need debug, don't need debug, don't need debug. Compat, console shared, I don't know what those are. If I don't know what they are, I probably don't need them. Build sample code, nah. Add system runtimes, I don't know what it is, so just forget about it. So hit configure. I didn't get any errors, and it says this is an even stable release. Debugging is not enabled. Okay, I'm liking it. They give you some warning about CMake, but hey, it worked. We don't care. You see the G now? We can generate. So let's G for generate. And we've got our build 2. So now we do a CMake build of build 2. And we hit the button. We got some warnings, but it looks like it worked. If we do a find on build 2, name tidy, type F. Yes, there is a tidy. It's in build 2 tidy. It is executable. So it's probably the file we want. It says it's dynamically linked. It's not stripped. And we can see the only thing it links is libc, so that's okay. We're okay with that. We might want to strip it though. Strip -G says remove the debugging but leave the other stuff. And that's usually good enough. Okay, let's do the install. And if everything works right, it'll go into our home.local. Yeah, it did. Okay, so let's do a #-R to tell the shell forget any remembered paths. If we do a which tidy, it says it's there. And we got 580, which is the one we wanted. 580. Now, is that going to solve my problem? I don't know yet. But I go back to home and I go back to work. 2021 semester 2 EFI web. And I'll say tidy -E index HTML. Ha! No warnings or errors. And if you want to see what the difference is, we could still do an strace even though it worked, right? E -E. And again, they're outputting their messages with single byte writes, which has just got to be painfully slow. But here's the open at, and you can see this time they said read only. Read only. And instead of getting permission denied, we got the number 3, which tells us, you know, that's the file number. Because at the low level, files don't have names, they have numbers. After you open it, the system just knows the number. And they do a stat, and they memory map it, file number 3, to load it up, and then they close that thing. So everything's good. We can get rid of temp junk. We don't need it anymore. And tidy seems to work. We've got lots of HTML files, so we probably ought to check them all. And to do that, we can do a simple shell loop. So for fname in star.html, we'll print the file name. You could use echo, but I'll try to use the newer style. That's going to print the file name, and then we're going to do a tidy -E on the file name, and then 2 greater than &1. Remember that says take the standard error and put it in the standard out, and then we only need these first 2 lines, right? If we have more than that, we'll have to take a closer look at the file. So we can just say head -N2, and that ought to do it. And then done, and that'll end the loop. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. Index is okay. We got some warnings in lesson 13, but everything else looks good. If you look at lesson 13, you can see it's a warning, it's not an error. And they talk about math, proprietary output, math, proprietary attribute, math variant. So let's go look at lesson 13 and look for math variant. And you see that the syntax is okay, but they're a little confused with this math tag, math variant equal bold. And you might wonder why. And you know, this is math ML. And how are we processing that? Because this website has to work for any web browser, and Chromium doesn't do MathML, only Firefox does. Well, you'll see at the top we're using MathJax. You know, I said don't do a JavaScript heavy site, and the MathJax in this file only is used to display math equations, but nothing else in here is doing serious JavaScript. So, what can we conclude? We can conclude this is okay. There are warnings. Tidy doesn't understand it because Tidy doesn't understand MathJax. Okay? But otherwise, we're fine. And our files are fine. So, we've taken about 20 minutes and we solved the problem with Ubuntu. And, you know, I already updated this just a few videos ago. So you know this is the newest version of Ubuntu. I checked on the website. They don't have a 24.10 unstable yet. This is the best there is. And the best there is has an old tidy. And when that happens to you, you have to be able to build from source, which is why I have several videos in this series showing you how to build from source. Whether it's using CMake or the auto tools or a plain make file or Maison, you need to be able to build that software. And the reason why is most distros, everything except for maybe Linux from scratch or Gentoo, they've got old software. And when that old software works, hey, use it. But if it doesn't work and you find out there's a newer version like we did, you need to get the new version and try that. And often, not always, but often it will fix the problem. It fixed our problem with Tidy. And if you don't know how to do that, how to build from source, then, you know, you're handicapped and you're stuck with using some online validator, and God only knows what they do with your web page. When you use some online validator, they're going to keep that in the database, and you might see your own website somewhere else with somebody else's name on it. You really don't want to do that. Okay, I'm finished with this video. I hope you'll come back for the next one when we do something completely different. And thank you for listening.